Hi guys, you're welcome to my channel. Today we'll be making this beautiful runched skirt. This particular skirt has the ruching in front of it and also at the back where you have the zipper allowance. We're going to start by drafting our pattern on fold. Guys, because of the nature of this style, we're going to draft the pattern on fold. So I'm going ahead to take my measurement, my waist to hip measurement, which is 8 inches. 8 to 9 inches is the standard. Okay, so I'll go ahead, I'll connect it to each other as you can see me doing. And the next measurement I want to take is the waist to hip, waist to knee measurement, which is 24 inches. I'll mark it. Guys, you want to draft your pattern paper on fold, okay? This style doesn't have side seam, alright? So you're going to draft it on fold. So I'll go ahead and I'll connect it just like this. And then I'll take the length of the skirt, which is 33 inches. The length is 33 inches. You can measure the length you want. You can make it as long as you want or as short as you want. I'll also go ahead and I'll connect this just as you can see me doing, guys. Okay, now taking our measurement, I'm going to impute the waist measurement I'm working with. The waist measurement is 8.2, so I'll impute it on the waistline, and I'll also impute the hip measurement on the hip line. The hip measurement is 10 inches. Guys, when you're working with this style, please add extra inches to your waist. Add like 2 to 3 inches or more to your hip. Add extra inches to your hip, okay, so that you won't be tight because of the kind of style we're making. So I'll just go ahead, as you can see me doing, I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines from my waist to my hip, from hip down to the hemline. Guys, if you don't want yours to be this penciled, just go ahead and connect from your hip down to your hemline, okay, if you don't want it to be penciled at the down part. All right, so I'll just go ahead now, as you can see me doing, and just mark my dart. I'm not going to sew a dart on this skirt, but I just want to mark the dart so that I'll know where my dart is, so that when we want to use it later in the pattern, in the tutorial, we won't be looking for our dart line. And for your hip line, as you can see, this one looks sharp. You don't want your hip to come out looking sharp, so you have to blend it in. You can do that with your pattern curve or use your free hand and blend it in, just as you can see me doing. And of course, I went ahead and I am cutting out my pattern. I'm also cutting out the waist, and then I will grab another pattern paper on fold. You know, I told you all our patterns, both the back and the front, will be on fold. I want to trace out the pattern, the back pattern now, so I'm folding my pattern paper just as you can see me doing, and I am marking my zipper allowance, half of an inch. You can do 1 inch or whatever works for you. So make sure you note all the lines. I am noting my hip line, I'm noting my new line on the new pattern paper, so that when I remove the old pattern paper, I will not be looking for my lines. And of course, I'm going ahead to also cut it out, as you can see me doing, and then here is our pattern. Guys, please don't be confused by the plenty of lines you can see on this pattern. I already used it for something else, but I didn't want to waste, so I decided to use it for this tutorial. So don't get confused when you see a lot of lines when I opened it up. Alright, so we'll just go ahead now. You know, I told you this style doesn't have side seam, so we'll go ahead and close the side seam on our pattern paper. before we transfer it to the fabric, okay, I'm closing the right side seam. I'll also close the left side seam. Guys, please do this carefully and gently. Make sure all your lines are meeting. As you can see me doing my hip line, my two hip lines are meeting. That is the back panel and the front panel. Okay, make sure they are meeting. Guys, my table is small, so I'm trying to manage it. So even if it means you staying on the floor to do this to achieve a perfect fit, please do so. All right, so I've closed this other part, the right side of the pattern, the right seam. So I'll also go ahead now and close the waist, and to do that I will just go ahead and slash the hip line open so that it will enable me to close the waist. Okay, just as you can see me doing. Guys, if you don't slash the hip open as I'm doing, you won't be able to close the waist part, you see. So I slashed the hip open and it gave it made the waist flexible. So I'll go ahead and I'll also close the waist like so, just as you can see me doing. So I'll just close it up as you can see. I'll also go ahead and repeat it for the other side. Okay, I'll just repeat it. The same thing I did for the right hand, I'll also do for the left hand. And then I'll mark my dart line straight down. I connected my dart line from the waist down to the hemline, and then I'm making this curve. You know, the skirt has this beautiful curve in front of it where there is this, where we have the slit. So this is the curve here. Just use your curve ruler and give it a nice shape. Okay, and I'll go ahead and I'll cut it out. All right, as you can see me doing. I'll also cut out the dart line. Guys, I'm just marking my slash lines. These lines are 2 inches away from each other. Okay, this is just my slash line for my slash and spread. See how I'm doing it? Just go ahead and do it like so. All right, and then label your lines so that you won't get confused. In case you need to make reference to the pattern paper later, you won't get confused. All right, so that even when we remove it from the fabric, you will still know which one is which. And of course, my table was too small. I had to come down to do this whole slash and spread. I'm marking 1 inch by the side for allowance. Although I already have a zipper allowance at the back of the zip, but I just decided to add 1 inch allowance just in case. And then I'm trying to make sure everything aligns. I'm marking it from this point you're seeing to around 14 inches so that it will align with the other lines, the brown paper. All right, so I'll just go ahead and I'll just cut it. I did not add hemming allowance because I figured my pattern paper was already long enough, so there was no need for hemming allowance. But you can add your hemming allowance at the down part for your folding. Okay, and then you saw I just notched it. Make sure you notch your pattern paper. All right, so guys, I'm going ahead to do the other one. As you can see, you know, we have two patterns, the left and the right. So this is the left one, and I've cut it out of my fabric again, and then I'm going ahead to just plait it. All right, as you can see, I'm pleating it starting from where I notched it, where my slit stopped. I'm pleating it upward to the waistline. Just keep pleating, folding, make sure it's very neat. Guys, you want to hold your pleat with a pin, especially if you're working with a silky fabric or a drapey fabric. Hold it with a pin. Okay, so it will be easy for you to sew when you get to the sewing machine. As you can see me doing, I'm holding it down with a pin. I'm done with this side, so I'm also starting from the side where I notched. Make sure you notch where your fullness stop. So you're going to pleat it back to the original size. That is why you need to notch it to know where to pleat it from and where to stop. Okay, so I'm just going ahead to pleat it, securing it to the pin. As you can see me doing, I'm just going ahead to pleat it carefully. Alright guys, you want to take your time and do this assignment. Okay, take your time and do it so that it will come out looking very beautiful, just as you can see. All right. Okay guys, so you see the left and the right side. This is it now. This is it. So you go ahead and fold it. Fold it before you join it to the second part. Just as you can see me demonstrating, you fold it like so, and then you join the two together. You join it like so. Okay, then you sew it. All right. So guys, this is it. I folded it like I said I was going to do. Where the slit stopped, I folded it down to the hemline. I folded it down to the hemline, and I also sewed the zipper part. I joined it together. The back, you know, the style doesn't have side seam, so we'll just have the back and the slit in front. Okay, this is it. This is what the back looks like, where the zip will be. Okay, you see it's looking so beautiful. Then this is my band. I'll be using 2 inches band for this, guys. You can use 1 inch or 2 inches. It's totally depend on the kind of band you want. All right, but for this tutorial, this band is 2 inches wide, so I'll just go ahead and also secure it with a pin, and then I'll go to the machine and also sew the band to the skirts, just as you can see me doing. I'm still securing it with a pin, guys. Okay, so this is it. After I'm done securing it, I'll go ahead and I'll fix my zipper to the back where I have my zipper allowance. I'll just fix it like this, guys. So that is all for the skirt, guys. I made a simple skirt. I made a simple top for this skirt. Okay, it's just a cut together top. All right, the sleeve and the shoulder is joined together. Okay, so to do this, I'll just go ahead and take my measurement from my shoulder. As you can see, I'm taking my nipple point, which is 11 inches. All right, I'm also taking it on the other side, so I will be sure of the measurement so that my line will be straight. Okay, so as you can see me doing 11 inches, then I'll go ahead and I'll connect it with my ruler this way. Use your straight ruler to connect your lines. Alright guys, I also take from my shoulder to my waist, which is 18 inches, just as you can see me doing. Shoulder to waist, 18 inches. Alright, I'll mark 18 inches, and I'll also connect same 18 inches on the other side for accuracy purpose. Okay, 18 inches. I'm doing it for the third time so that all the lines will come out looking straight. I know it's freehand. I'm cutting on the fabric, but that doesn't mean your work should be rough. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll connect it just as you can see me doing. All right, I'm trying to connect the neck. Okay guys, the neck I'm using is 4 inches by 4 inches, but guys, you can do it smaller. 3 by 3 is the standard. Okay, if you don't want it to be this wide, just do 3 by 3 or any neckline of your choice. But for this particular neckline, I use 4 by 4, so it came out looking this way. All right, so for the sleeve where your armhole will come out from, I'm going to use 9 inches. All right, I'm using 9 inches. This is a cut together sleeve. As you can see, I'm not going to attach a sleeve. And then I'll go ahead to take my measurement, my waist measurement, plus a few allowances, 2 to 3 inches allowances, because it's a really big top. Guys, you can make it smaller if you want. And then, I imputed my bust measurement, and now I'm imputing my waist measurement with 2 to 3 inches allowances. And then I'm going to impute my hip measurement, and then I'll connect it from my bust to my waist to my hip, just as you can see me doing, guys. And then for the armhole, from the bust, I'll just connect it to that 9 inches I marked initially. Okay, that will be where my sleeve, my hand will come out from, and I'm going ahead to cut it, guys. I told you it's a very simple top. You can sew it in 5 minutes, guys. My shoulder is 7 inches plus extra 12 inches. That 12 inches is the sleeve length. That is why it's called a cut together sleeve. Alright guys, I just went ahead and I'll just go ahead and I'll hem it. Yeah, I'll fold the sleeve like so. I'll go to my machine, I'll fold it in by 1/2 inch. Okay, I'll also fold it in by another 1/2 inch and I'll sew it. As you can see, I folded it with 1/2 inch, and then I went ahead, I sewed it. And also the down part, the hem, I also sewed it. I'm going to give it a very good press. I've not ironed it here, that's why it's looking that way. Alright guys, for the neck piping, I'll use a bias. Guys, please, you want to use a matching bias to do this, okay? I don't have this color of bias, so for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use this black bias to sew it, but please use a matching bias. I can sew any bias and it will not show on the other side, so I'm actually safe with that bias. So you want to go ahead to the machine now and just hem it. Sew the side. Just go ahead and sew the side, and guys, this is what we have. All right, it's beautiful. Guys, please share this video.